What's up YouTube, Crispy Charizard here. Now, if you have been a fan of my channel for a long time, which is probably unlikely sensing as I have very few subscribers at the moment of making this video, I would remind you that I made this video a long time ago, and it was like months and months ago, maybe even a year ago, maybe even more. I don't know. I've been making videos for a long time, but I haven't increased in popularity just because I have very little time on my hands. But if you remember, I made a video just touching upon a theory I heard about years ago, and that was that the fire starters are based on the Chinese Zodiac animals of the Chinese calendar, the Chinese Zodiac Calendar. Maybe you've heard of this theory, maybe you haven't, maybe you've seen my video, maybe you haven't, but I'm just going to reiterate what it is. So, just basically, there's a theory that every fire starter so far is based on an animal in the Chinese Zodiac Calendar. If you don't know what the Chinese Zodiac Calendar looks like, it is basically a group of animals which represent subsequent years. So in this order, they are the rat, the ox, the tiger, the rabbit, the dragon, the snake, the horse, the sheep or goat, depending on where you live, because some people say sheep, some say goat, then the monkey, the rooster, the dog, and finally the pig. And people have noticed a trend years ago, since Pokemon has existed for over 20 years now. They've noticed this trend, and they were like, this has got to not be a coincidence. And some people said yeah, some people said no. When I brought it up on my video, some people disagreed with me, some people argued with me, and I was like, open for discussion. I like debates. It's healthy, it's intellectual. But many people did agree with me. But at the moment of making that video, I wasn't 100% convinced. I mean, I was, but I wasn't taking it seriously. To me, it was just a joke or a very, very incredible coincidence. But at the end of that video, I said that we've only been aware of 7 generations when that video was made. And I said that as soon as Gen 8 is announced, I'm going to see if the theory still fits, because it'll be obvious. Out of all the animals that weren't in the first 7 generations of the Chinese Zodiac, I said once Gen 8 is announced and we find a fire starter, we will know immediately if it fits. So, let me start all over from the beginning with this theory, and then we'll finally get to whether Gen 8 confirms or disproves the Chinese Zodiac Calendar fire starter theory, or whatever you want to call it. So, starting from the top, we have Charmander, which evolves into Charmeleon and Charizard from Kanto in Generation 1. Now, this is one of the few starters that people might have a problem with, because they say that, oh, Charmander's a lizard, it's not a dragon. And I'm like, okay, that's not wrong. Then they say Charmeleon is a lizard, it's not a dragon. And then I say, okay, you're not wrong. And then they say Charizard is not a dragon type, therefore it's not a dragon. And I say, no. Charizard is not a dragon type, but it is a dragon. There is no debate about that. It is based off of a classic Western dragon. It is not necessarily the Eastern dragon that the Chinese people who created this Zodiac had in mind, but it is basically a dragon. It is a fire flying type, granted, but, and it is, what is it called? The Blaze Pokemon or the Flame Pokemon? I get the classifications confused. It's a dragon, and if you really need it to be a dragon type, then, Mega! Mega Charizard X is a dragon type, so yeah, drop the mic. Then let's move on to Generation 2. This one is the most troublesome out of every generation. Cyndaquil, Quilava, Typhlosion. The most troublesome so far. And, it's not easy to convince people otherwise. But here's the thing. Their argument is that Cyndaquil is based off an echidna, which is not it's not false. It's true. Cyndaquil is inspired by an echidna. And then they say that its final evolution, Typhlosion, is based off a badger. And I'm like, okay, it kind of does look like a badger, yes. And the only animal that it possibly can fit with on the Zodiac is the rat. And they're like, no, Cyndaquil's not a rat. The Quilava and Typhlosion are not rats. And I'm like, well, here's the thing. for those of you who don't know, Cyndaquil, specifically Cyndaquil, its classification is the Fire Mouse Pokemon. So even if it doesn't look like a mouse, it's officially the Fire Mouse Pokemon, just like how Pikachu is the Mouse Pokemon, and Sandshrew is the Mouse Pokemon, well, Cyndaquil is the Fire Mouse Pokemon. And while its two evolutions are the Volcano Pokemon specifically, they are still evolved from Cyndaquil. And in my opinion, while Cyndaquil obviously doesn't look like a mouse as much as an Echidna, Typhlosion to me resembles a rat. And if until now you've been confused why I've been saying mouse instead of rat, you have to understand that not everything has to be exact. Just like how a lizard can evolve into a dragon, which isn't even a dragon type, it doesn't have to be exact. Mice and rats have common ancestry. They're basically cousins, you know? They may not be the exact same species, but if you ever saw a mouse or a rat, but you've never seen one before, you wouldn't necessarily know which is which unless you paid attention, you know? If you were scared of it and ran out of the room, you wouldn't know if it was a mouse or a rat because they look the same, you know, from far away. Mice and rats are basically the same thing in the grand scheme of things. So, because Cyndaquil is definitely a fire mouse, officially by its classification, and in my opinion, Typhlosion really looks like a rat. If you know, look at its general head shape and its body shape, it's very plain looking, which, you know, is why a lot of people don't like it, but I'm a fan of Typhlosion. It's probably one of my favorite Pokemon too. Typhlosion is the rat Pokemon, you know, in my opinion. It's not officially the rat Pokemon, but it fits because Cyndaquil is the fire mouse and it looks like a rat. So yeah, 2 generations down, you know, so far we're good. Then came Generation 3, and then everything was easy. You know, Generation 1 and 2 were probably the most troublesome of all of them, but everything after that, with a few exceptions, was probably, you know, home run. Generation 3, Torchic, Combusken, Blaziken. What can that possibly be on the Zodiac? Well, it's a rooster. The last time I made the first video, someone actually told to me, Torchic is a chick, not a rooster. And then they were like, oh, you know, like, chickens aren't roosters, or like something like that. Like, Blaziken is a chicken, not a... I don't know what they were saying. And I actually had to teach someone, maybe their English wasn't good or something, I don't know, I'm not going to make any assumptions. I actually had to teach someone that roosters are the same species as chickens. Maybe they knew that, maybe they made a mistake, but roosters are chickens. And there's a rooster right there on the Chinese Zodiac, and Blaziken's a rooster. So far, boom. Dragon, boom. Rat, boom. Rooster. You may still disagree about the rat one, but I gave my argument. Fire mouse, like, let's not backtrack. I'm just really obsessed with, you know, being right. You know, I didn't take this seriously the first time, but this time, once Generation 8 was announced, I am, you know, sticking with my guns. So, moving on to Generation 4, another easy one. Chimchar. It's a chimp. Evolves into Monferno. Evolves into Infernape. Boom. You know, it has a tail. It's an ape. It's a monkey. It's the monkey, you know, on the Zodiac. A monkey. Now, I know monkeys and apes are 2 different things, you know, and technically, while Chimchar may pass for an ape, Infernape is a monkey, and, like, they're not the same thing. It's Pokemon, okay? They don't have to be perfect, you know? A chimp can evolve into a monkey, apparently, even though they're not the same thing in real life. So, Infernape is a monkey, therefore it fits with the monkey on the Zodiac. Okay, 4 down. Next is Generation 5. Oh my goodness, I did Gen 6 before Gen 5. We have Tepig, probably my least favorite of all the fire starters, but that's just personal preference, you know, you don't have to hate him. It's just a pig, and, well, a pig's a pig, and it is the loser of the race from the legend. So, yeah, last place we have the pig, Tepig, which evolves into Pignite, which evolves into Embor, and they are all based on types of pigs, and they are not badly designed for a fire pig, which, again, their classifications are fire pig, and mega fire pig in the Pokedex. Now, this is probably the 3rd most likely, after Charizard and Typhlosion, to cause a problem, because Fennekin is based on a fox, including its evolutions Braixen and Delphox. Now, Delphox technically is also inspired by a witch, so it's a witch fox, and they're like, oh, it's a fox, there's no fox on the Zodiac, and I'm like, it doesn't have to be exact. There is a dog on the Zodiac, and foxes are types of dogs. You may be like, well, not really. They're not a breed of dog. Well, they're not domestic dogs. They're not Canis domesticus, you know, but they are canines. Foxes are part of the canine genus. So if you do know your biology or genetics, it's not actually a secret. Everyone knows that foxes are related to dogs. The Russians have even rebred or domesticated foxes, or at least tried to. It is not a secret that foxes have common ancestry with dogs. You know, we have Fennekin, we have Delphox. It is not difficult to see the resemblance. They may be foxes, but foxes are dogs. So you may be thinking, what's the point of you know, convincing us of all this? It's so obvious, but I have to stick to the argument in order to convince people who aren't convinced yet. So yeah. So come Generation 7, you know, they introduced Litten, and what a surprise, it's another animal on the Zodiac. A cat, or a kitten, evolves into a cat, evolves into a wrestler, which some people didn't like the change in legs from 4-legged to 2-legged, but, you know, it works. Incineroar clearly is inspired, designed to be a tiger, and there is a tiger on the Zodiac. Now, before Generation 8 was announced, people who subscribed to this theory were strongly impressed to think that all fire starters from now on will be an ox, a rabbit, a snake, a horse, and a sheep/goat. And what a surprise, we get Scorbunny, a rabbit. It's there, folks. I don't know what to tell you. I don't want to make a big deal out of this. I don't want you to think I'm crazy or anything. And I didn't even take this seriously the first time. I was like, sure, this may be a coincidence, this may be a thing. But now, after 8 generations, we have a dragon, we have a rat, we have a rooster, we have a monkey, we have a pig, we have a dog, and we have a tiger, and finally, in the Galar region of Sword and Shield, we have a rabbit. Scorbunny is a rabbit. I don't know what its evolutions look like or what they're even called. I don't know what typing it'll have, but it doesn't matter. It fits the Chinese Zodiac Firestarter theory, and that makes me happy because it validates my beliefs. And if you know, it's not the happiest life where you really always need to be right, but it feels good when you are. Now, you may still be unconvinced by this, and I don't know why you wouldn't be convinced by this, but tell you what. Tell me what you disagree with in the comments down below, and I'll see if you have an argument that is worth considering, because, you know, if you don't make a comment down below, then I'm just going to continue believing I'm right. But hopefully all of you are convinced, which, you know, would mean that, you know, I've done a good job. But what this could mean for the future is worrying, because, one, some people take this to mean that after the Zodiac is full, Pokemon will end forever, which is kind of weird to think about. Not really the best thing to think about. It makes me kind of sad. Also, it makes me think that even if they don't end, every Pokemon after that won't fit into the Chinese Zodiac theory, because, you know, the Zodiac will be full. You know, who knows? But enough about that. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and check out my channel for more videos like this. Don't forget to comment down below, share with a friend, hit that notification bell, and thanks again. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.